Looking to find collectible figures at low cost with superior customer service? Fanboy Collectibles is one of the largest retailers of high-end collectibles on the east coast of the USA, carrying a full array of Hot Toys, Enter-based, SideShow Collectibles 3A and all the top manufacturers. Domestic and international packages shipped daily, all fully insured with tracking number and securely packed. Getting it to you as quickly is important, but not as important as your collectibles arriving in pristine condition. Are you looking to pre-order an item to guarantee you don't miss it when it's released? Well, Fanboy Collectibles does that too. If you got a question about an item, give them a call, shoot them an email, or even leave them a message on their Facebook page. Fanboy Collectibles is available full-time to respond to you and to get your items to you as quickly as possible. Anyone can make a sale. Fanboy Collectibles knows the key to being successful is repeat customers. That comes from doing the right thing by you and making customer services their priority. Fanboy Collectibles. For some it's a hobby, to them it's an obsession. Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the Hottoycast, the out of the real world intern episode of our most esteemed podcast where we discuss all things high-end action figures from the likes of Hot Toys, SideShow and many more. Now, today my hosts are, joining me today are...
Well, I'll go first. You want Mr. Jeff Parker?
Good stuff.
And Mr. Michael Crawford, although I'm using the Mr. in the loosest term possible.
Well, it's a new age, Mike. It's a new age, so hey, misters are too specific. And my name is Eamon O'Neill, also known as Eamon on most toy boards. All right, so today we've got a load of figures to discover because we haven't actually had a chance to kind of sit down all three of us together for a chat on Hot Toys. Last time we had our little Mass Universe special. We had to get special guests for that, so we're back to our usual routine now. And we're going to try and get through Iron Man Bones, Arkham Batman, Days of Future Past Wolverine, Electro, Blake and Gordon, Bat Signal, Rocket and Groot, Age of Ultron, Captain America, Widow, and you put down Cad Bane. What's that?
Cad Bane is from the animated Star Wars show. He's a bounty hunter. And in the version that Sideshow did, he's not wearing his super cool bounty hunter gear. Unfortunately, he's wearing this stormtrooper disguise that he ends up using to escape in one of the episodes. But hey, it's a new head sculpt on sort of a standard trooper body.
That guy. Yes, now I know what you're talking about.
He's the wide-brimmed hat kind of like man with no name of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, he's got that cool bounty. I wish that it was the version they'd done.
Yeah. I mean, do you get the feeling that the reason they didn't go for that one was that obviously just using some trooper armor, it's on the shelf, and just new head sculpt and away you go?
Yeah, I would assume so. It's cheaper, and, he did wear it, so...
Yeah.
Oh, he's the dude with the cowboy hat.
And I'm imagining, obviously, if this one does reasonably well, which I don't know how well it's gone down, but it strikes me that he's a popular character from the animated series. So it would strike me as you say, Michael, it's a no-brainer really that would be the outfit you do. But test the waters with the armor.
The armor is I can't think of the trooper's name. He's like second in command.
Cody.
No, he's behind, what the hell is his name? I think it starts with an N.
I won't be able to
But anyway, the actual trooper armor, when you pop the helmet on and take the Bane head off, you actually do have a slightly different trooper than you've gotten before, so.
Right. Sweet.
All right, cool. So, is it a nice figure?
It's a great figure. It's another trooper, and the head sculpt, though, is really outstanding, especially, if you want to try to kit bash your own more Western-styled Cad Bane. The head sculpt is fantastic.
Yeah, that's got to follow, hasn't it, really? I hope. Who knows?
CW. Okay, cool. Well, we should crack on then with the rest of them then, and we should get into some Hot Toys now. So while we're on Sideshow, let's carry on with actually the Star Wars theme, and let's go on with the Trooper and Biker Scout.
Hey, did you guys pick these up?
I didn't. I have to admit, I did. I hate to watch online reviews before I've got something, but I have to admit it's kind of on hold for me at the moment. I did love the look of the Trooper. I did watch an online review of the bike, and there seemed to be some issues putting it together. I
reviewed the Trooper on Thursday or Friday. I had it in the site.
Yeah.
And tonight the review of the bike will go up.
Cool.
Yeah. And there's a video that SideShow did to help you put it together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it comes in a million pieces here, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about maybe 8 pieces or so, and 10 pieces tops that you have to put together if you include both handles. And so it's not that big a deal. I'm surprised people are having as much trouble as there. They did put together a video, and there is a full instruction manual on what part to put where.
Yeah.
They are a little delicate. Kind of reminded me of R2-D2, where some of the pieces are a little on the delicate side.
Especially the handlebars, I'd imagine.
Yeah, so you don't want to be cranking on them. You don't want to be forcing things. But I was able to, I didn't, I've heard everybody saying, oh, I had to glue this or I had to glue that. I put it all together, and I tend to be kind of clumsy. So I was able to do it without breaking anything, and it all went together nice. So it is a terrific looking bike. Now, the Trooper, let's start with him. He's a good figure. The problem for me is he's not my favorite Trooper. The Snow Trooper, when Sideshow did that, I was just, I loved it because that's a Trooper outfit I really like.
Yeah.
This one's okay. It's not good that I look.
I have to admit, poles apart from me, that I always loved the Trooper outfit, the Scout Trooper outfit, and I was never into the Snow Trooper. Yeah.
I like the helmet the best. It's a little big, maybe. Not bad, though. Again, I think people start thinking of, they forget that in reality, you got to have a head fit in there somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think the helmet's it might be just a smidge big. The body's not loose at all. The Prometheus body this time is fantastic. I didn't have a single problem getting him to hold any pose I wanted him to. So that's a good sign. Always good to make sure the hips and the knees are tight. The only problem I really had with him, other than the fact that, like I said, on his own he's a little is the small blaster. It's not nearly. I think they probably scaled it correctly to like other weapons, but didn't take into account how meaty those gloved hands are on their figures.
Yeah. Gee, that is tiny. That is tiny.
So it kind of gets lost in the hand, especially the barrel. The barrel needed to come out further, and I really do think it's just because the fingers are so fat that it kind of dwarfs the pistol. But that's probably the one big negative is that. You pop him on the bike, and then the combo looks fantastic. You can get down, crouched low to the bike. The body works well enough that there's enough torso articulation that he can crunch and get low to those handlebars.
Nice.
He doesn't have any trouble holding both handlebars. I got some good poses with him shooting the gun. The bike rides on a steel rod that goes into the one of the standard black bases, but they've got that new diorama Rocky, add-on pieces that they've started doing that kind of slide over the black base. They did that with what other figures? Well, they did it with the Trooper. He has his own base too, where there's like logs and stuff that slide over it. But they did it with somebody else recently. Sideshow did. Trying to think. And it's kind of a cool idea. I mean, you can take away the diorama effect if you want or add it in. And this time with the Trooper and the bike, they actually give you like multiple pieces that you can put together if you want, or you don't have to. You can add a couple of logs, you can not use the logs, that kind of thing. So they give you some variety, which is nice.
Nice, yeah. I really like the base on this guy. The base is really, really, really nice. I mean, I for one love all the troopers, love the snow troopers, but as a kid though, I loved the biker scout. I just loved the way it exploded when you pressed the button on the back and it went up. And I just loved that thing. And you got a lot of mileage, you got a lot of play time out of that biker scout, more so than a lot of maybe the other Star Wars stuff. But I'm
going to
really
include photos in the. Yeah, I'm going to include photos in the review of also the Hasbro bike with this bike. I saw some online comments saying, well, you could have just saved $300. The Hasbro bike's fine. Well, it's okay. It's in a photo, it'll pass. In the hand, there's really no comparison. The paint application is nothing compared. The realism's just not there. The Hasbro bike is bigger.
The Black Series one, though, you're talking about, right?
No, I'm talking about the old Hasbro bike that they did with 12-inch figures.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day,
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I don't know what happened in the. I was going to say, I don't know what happened in the States, but here in the UK, back in the day when I was collecting the old Hasbro figures, and I have a lot of them, they couldn't give those bikes away in the end. But I got the Trooper, I got Luke, and I got Leia, each of them on a bike.
Yeah,
and I think I picked up Luke and Leia literally with the bike and the figure included. They were like 15 quid. They just couldn't give them away.
Yeah, I
don't know what went wrong
back in the day. So it was.
Yeah.
I think it might have even ended up.
The Hasbro bike is about. almost 2 feet long. This one's about 21 inches long, so it's about 3 inches shorter. But if you look at some of the stills, in my opinion, the Hasbro bike was too big. It's bulky. If you look at, like, I compared it to the Gentle Giant statue that they did a few years back, where the trooper's kind of leaning against the bike, and the bike's not that big. It's not double his size. So Hasbro bike, but of course the Hasbro bike was also dealing with those kind of clunky G.I. Joe style thick hands, thick bodies. Yeah. Or here you got a more slim, trim, properly scaled trooper to go on it. You combine those two together, you put that trooper on the back of that bike, and he looks fantastic on the shelf.
Cool. I mean, I'm it's a set I was like looking at as well. I was like, I don't have room for that. The Batmobile's taking up the entire top of my details, and I just don't have room for it, man. I would like to get it. It looks really awesome, and I'm a sucker for the biker scouts. And just to, as we were on the Star Wars thing, and I just wanted to briefly, it's nothing to do with figures, but about 2-3 weeks ago, a friend of ours took us to Secret Cinema. Empire Strikes Back Secret Cinema. I will tell you now, this was the most amazing thing I've ever been to. If you are in any doubts as to how good this is, I strongly suggest you go and do it. Take your kids, take yourself, it doesn't matter. It's all amazing. It is so good. You're there for the whole day, and believe me, the day just flies past because you're just doing some crazy stuff, and some stuff is happening around you. It's amazing. And that's it. Go do it. Secret Cinema, Empire Strikes Back. It is awesome. I believe it's on like the end of January or the end of September or something in the UK. And I don't know if they do stuff like that in the States, but these things are amazing. They did a Back to the Future one. And this one now is Empire Strikes Back. Amazing stuff. And so as we were on about Star Wars, I felt I just wanted to get in there. It's really cool. You got it, Jeff. Seriously, go, man.
Yeah,
go.
It's 80 quid a pop, and I've got 2 kids. Literally everybody I work with has been, and they're all just like raving about it. They did Back to the Future last year as well, and they said that this is even better than Back to the Future, and that was amazing. Yep. So I'd love to do it, but 80 quid a pop at the moment for me, 2 kids is.
I was fortunate enough to have someone take us because he was actually DJing. He was DJing in the Death Star. So we had
really?
It was amazing. I'm not going to go into it. It was just I can't. You can't. The whole thing is you can't give anything away. They don't even. They put your phones into a silver bag and you cannot touch it while you're there for the whole day. So people are not allowed their phones for the whole day, which is actually quite cool in a lot of ways. All right, back on to regular talk. So we're going to kick off with a Hot Toys section now, and we're going to go into Iron Man Bones. Mark. What's L? I can never make out L.
50.
L1. Mark 50. Mark 51.
So it's 41.
Oh, 41.
Yeah, because the 10's in front of the L.
Right.
So that's 40.
Okay, 41. Okay, from Iron, it's the Bones. It's one of the ones that probably had 2 seconds of screen time, but it looks really super detailed. And if you like your tech, if you like your techie bits and you love taking the chest plate off your Iron Man figure, you're going to go apes over this, I'll tell you. This looks great. So, wow, Mike, you've got this, have you?
I do indeed. I have it in front of me as well.
Kick it off then.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I think the real differentiator of this, we've had a lot of power suits over the last few years, and there's going to be a few more, I think, coming at us. But it's always nice when you get the ones that do really stand out on the shelves and really kind of look like Hot Toys have done a lot more sculpting and made this one look different, because it is just physically different. And, I mean, funny enough, we were talking about looking at Starboost later as well, if we've got time. And I think the 2 that we're talking about tonight are 2 that do really stand out. They do really stand out on the shelf as just looking very different. And, of course, the biggie about Bones is that whole thing about the fact that the whole suit kind of comes apart as kind of weaponized different parts, the arms and the legs. So the whole thing is kind of held together with magnets. So, and it all pulls apart relatively easily, but it holds just about firm enough to be kind of secure. So, every time you pull away a leg or you pull away the knee or the half arm point, there are just these little kind of like button magnets that are holding everything together, and you get this really cool display stand, so you can kind of put all the different limbs flying in different directions, and there's even little kind of flame details and jets that you can attach to them, so you can kind of make it look as if they're all making their merry way towards the same destination. But no, it's just a very nice figure. I just like the fact that it is so different from the others. I mean, I think I'm right in saying that pretty much everyone is just in love with the metal Mark 42, really. But at the same time, if you want some other kind of like Iron Man for your shelf, I think this is one of the ones that just looks very cool, just looks very different.
Yeah, I mean, the lights on the jets don't light up, do they? Because that would be
No.
No, they don't.
I would say, and what it reminded me of, all that texture and detail, all the little pistons, all the little gears, all the little wires. It reminds me of an anatomy version of an Iron Man.
Yeah,
It's like it's the skin's been peeled away, and you're looking at the internal workings on the surface.
Yeah,
and it is really cool because of that.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the little details, like, for example, the kind of the shoulder pauldron areas that would normally be covered in a whole kind of shell of armour. This is kind of like stripped away to the parts that just hold the shell of the armour, but it's still all articulated, and all the little kind of like all the pins move, and all of those areas just still kind of like can be repositioned. So if you're placing the arm in a high position, the whole thing kind of concertinas up, and it's just the little details like that really do make you think, oh, that's sweet. That's just been nicely observed, and really, it's a labour of love for somebody. They've gone that extra mile.
Yeah, it's meticulous, man. This is like.
I did think it wasn't nearly as articulated as, especially some of the newer metal versions. The hips and the shoulders and the ankles do that pop down, routine, and the torso does pop up. It still felt like it wasn't, because of the magnets and the location of some of the magnets, it's still not quite as articulated as you're going to get with some of the newer, especially the die-cast versions. But, he's not a suit intended to have a dude inside, so you can let some of that go, especially if you're going to display it with all the parts busted apart. I think what I think you should do is you should take it all apart and then create a mobile where you get a little fishing wire and you have all the parts in the air and you have a motor on the mobile so you can turn it on and they all go like flying around.
That'd be mental. Yeah, that'd be kind of insane, actually. All right. What was the price tag on this, Mike? What do you think about the price tag as opposed to?
It's hefty. Every Iron Man, even non-metal ones, this was $285, I think.
All right.
Yeah, it's a killer.
Yeah.
Okay. But compared to other Iron Man, do you think price-wise is he worth getting? I mean, if you're on the fence and say if you want to get him, or say Starboost, or say the Heartbreaker, well, I mean, how do you reckon? Because I'm sure for a lot of us we have to kind of maybe start picking and choosing our Iron Mans now, like I do.
Yeah, I think that gets down to sort of aesthetics, right? Because I think if I look at Starboost versus this guy versus Heartbreaker, I really like the armor on Starboost. For me. Yeah, I like that sort of astronaut-y space version. But somebody else is going to look at this and really love that texture detail, that super high quality detail that you're seeing on the skin. So I think it gets down to an aesthetic at this point.
Cool.
And I have to agree with you, Mike. I mean, I do love this fig. I do love Bones. But I mean, it's almost worth segueing straight into Starboost if we want to talk about the same fig. Because for me, I've always just loved spacesuits. Any shape, way, manner, or form, I love spacesuits. And, to get a power suit that is meant to go into space. And again, I just love all the detail on the big heavy-duty kind of jets on the back of the armour. And again, the fact that all that texture, all that kind of like honeycomb texture is so different from anything that we've had on the power suit. So it's one of those ones where there's not a lot of reuse. It is all just kind of like a totally unique figure. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. And that it does sort of take the biscuit out of the two for me.
You can kind of imagine them bursting through the atmosphere with the heat shields and stuff like that, can't you? Because there's two heat shields on them, isn't there? Isn't there two? Can you change out the faceplate?
Yeah, you've got the faceplate with the eyes showing, and you've got the other one where they're kind of closed up.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I would have loved to have seen like that armor in kind of action, wouldn't you, in the movies? In fairness, that would have been pretty cool. It's like, I actually don't remember seeing Starboost. But he was kind of in one of those background shots where they all kind of line up, wasn't he? He was kind of in there. And they're quite good in the ones that they do pick. They have picked ones that you do notice them if you're keeping your eye out for them.
Yeah.
I love the Hammerhead, or the Hammerhand, whatever he's called, that one. That looks nice. That one I might actually pick up, and I might actually pick that one up before these ones, before Starboost and Bones. I do like the hammer one because it's just very unusual. It's a very unusual.
Is that the one with the pincers? Do you mean?
He's got like two kind of jackhammers on his arm.
Oh, right, yeah.
That one. He's very cool. Yeah, I mean, they're coming with a lot of I mean, in an ideal world, you'd love to have every Iron Man, but if you're picking and choosing, I guess,
House Party Protocol.
House Party Protocol. All right, okay. All right, well, there you go. That's Bones and Starboost there. All right, now we're going to go on to the Batman. Arkham the Batman. Now, this is a figure that's people have been a lot of talking about and stuff, and you see lots of pictures around, so it seems to be a bit of a favourite, because the video game as well. So I'd imagine maybe this is one of those Hot Toys that people who don't even necessarily collect Hot Toys would pick it up. Like I know fans of the game would probably want this figure. Probably over maybe the NECA one or something like that, even though the NECA one's pretty good for what it is. But so take us ahead then, Mike. I'll take us ahead.
Yeah, this is
Arkham Batman.
if you're a fan of the game, this is a sweet figure. It will be interesting because I think fans of the game will cut it more slack than true purist Hot Toys collectors. It's not as articulated. You've got that kind of rubber suit over the body. That does mean you're not going to get the shoulder, the hands up over the shoulders. You're not going to get any extreme arm poses. The legs work a little better, but even when you do pose them at the elbows and the knees, because it's that body, kind of thin rubberized bodysuit, you'll get those bends and it'll look. It's not. If you're a Hot Toys purist looking for that absolute perfection that you expect from them, I can see where you'll find some issues. If you're a fan of the video game, him just standing there in pretty much a basic pose looks smoking, right? I mean, he just looks really good. I think fans of the game are going to cut him a lot more slack.
Yeah. And the thing... Sorry, I was going to say, the thing I've always found with the video game characters as well is because, I don't know, you're Hot Toys enthusiast, you're one-sixth collector, you're kind of watching what Hot Toys have got coming out all the time, whereas your games enthusiast isn't necessarily on the same wavelength as we are. So what happens is these things come out, and then all of a sudden there's a buzz around them, and everybody wants it, and there's not enough. And this happened with the characters from Resident Evil. It also happened with the what's the other character with the blades that come out of his arms? The Assassin's Creed. They kind of come out, and I think there's such a buzz, and there's never enough of them out there because once people have seen the picture, they're I've got to have that on my shelf. And they just go up in price horrendously. Now, I think Batman's a big enough pull that probably more people are going to know about it, and even more of your usual 1/6 collectors are going to want it as well. But I will be interested to see in a year from now what the secondary prices are like on this figure. Whether there were enough out there to meet demand. Because I think that once people have seen it, they're going to think, I want one of those.
And
it'll be interesting to see how deep they go into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
Right, with other characters, because they went quite deep with Resident Evil, right? I mean...
Yeah, pretty good.
They had quite a few they did there. Not so much with some of the other game licenses, necessarily. Metal Gear, they've done a fair number, haven't they? Metal Gear Solid?
Metal Gear,
3 so far?
Yeah, they did 3.
So I'd like to see if, we could get a Joker, and I'd like to see how deep they go with this. At least get a couple of more figures out of it. There's some really interesting designs in the game.
Yeah,
I mean, it's this is one I think the price tag was a bit cheaper on this one as well because it wasn't a likeness or any of that kind of crack. It was straight from video games, so I found him a little bit more affordable. I didn't get him personally, but I was thinking about it because the prices of his isn't bad. But I tell you what, there's one thing that bothers me about this, and maybe it is in design of the game. I just find his head very small and narrow.
It's a tiny game, but
it really bothers me.
The game, yeah.
But that's the design of the game.
But that's also comic book versions, right? I mean, the comic versions tend to be a little pin-headed with a large chest and shoulders.
Yeah,
I know, but this one seems exceptionally at that. Though. I mean, he's got such this big kind of huge kind of chin on him, and then his head just kind of tapers in. It's kind of, I don't know, it just aesthetically it just kind of bothered me. But I prefer him with the mouthpiece where he's kind of gnashing his teeth. I like that one a bit more.
Yeah,
I do too, which is surprising because normally I don't. I'm not a bigger fan of the dynamic looks because they kind of usually look silly. But I have to agree, the gnashing teeth, sort of the slight grimace, I think works this character better than the more stoic, less dynamic look.
And does the faceplate change out these as well, like the other ones?
There's two face. Yeah, there's just a post that goes back into the head.
Oh, cool! They've done that thing with this one. Because man, I swear, I still can't. I've yet to successfully change out Michael Keaton's lower faceplate. I just can't do it. It's impossible.
Really?
Yeah, can't do it. So I've just left him. He's just got his regular old face. I haven't touched it since I got him. Because I was like, I could get a little scalp in me, but I'm afraid to tear the plastic. But it works quite well in this because they've kept, obviously, the same routine as the little peg like Mike just in the back.
Yeah, you just push it out in the back.
All right, cool. And he comes with lots of gubbins.
A good assortment, yeah.
Some gubbins. He's got a little...
Yeah, he's got a good assortment.
He's got his kind of batarang, and he's got the grappling gun, and he's got that kind of thing that shoots the zip line. And a couple of the bits kind of swap out and clip together, so you've got kind of different variations on how the weapons kind of like clip together. But yeah, no, it's quite
and they've
sweet.
done real specific hands. You know, all the hands work really well with the specific accessories. So
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I think it's, you know, the head size doesn't bother me as much. I mean, I think when you see it in hand, it just doesn't feel as out there as. But it's, you know, it's an issue, but it's a bit of a non-issue for me. It looks cool. But like Mike was saying, for me, it's more to do with, you know, when you are posing the arms, the suit, because it is rubber and bulky. It just it just creases a little bit unusually when you kind of like get into some more extreme poses. But I think he is a figure that's just designed to kind of look there in a relatively neutral pose and just look imposing and hard.
Do the arms hold up when his arms are? It's like if you move them away from his body upwards, would they hold up? If they want to
they will hold. Yeah. They just won't go very far.
Right. Okay. And there's always that phrase, though, because
it's just not a lot of height. Now, what's nice is the hips are, you know, the hip at that, you know, under his undies there is not all one piece. So the legs do have a lot more mobility than the arms and chest do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was Arkham Batman there. I guess we're crunching it here, lads. So we better power on with some Days of Future Past Wolverine. I've got this one myself. Yay! So I'll kick off this little one.
Yeah.
It'll be quite brief. He's awesome. He's deadly. He's the best Wolverine yet. That face sculpt is absolutely awesome. I love the face sculpt on him. I mean, you could still change it out and put it on all the Wolverines because, you know, the grey hair on the sides, Hot Toys are a bit clever. Didn't exaggerate the grey hair because he does have kind of grey wisps on the side of his hair in that movie. I just really like it. He feels incredibly X-Men-y Wolverine. He's not like the movie Wolverine. He just feels very X-Men. You could argue that he's actually in this outfit very little in that movie, but it's my favorite Wolverine. I decided to get rid of all my other Wolverines in favor of this one because just the face sculpt is nice, the posing on him is really nice. I really like the material that he has in his on his arms. He's got like an undergarment it just works really well, and it's got these kinds of hard plastic parts kind of like deliberately stuck into his arm, so the material doesn't kind of wander on you, doesn't like swivel around the arm and things like that when you move him. And I just really like it. I think the upper body armor is really nicely done. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more paint, a bit more paint apps on him overall, like on the feet and on all the armor bits. Actually, I could have just done with a little bit more wear and a little bit more on there because, you know, I watched the movie and I was like, oh yeah, it is quite clean. So I would have liked a little bit more attention to some of the paints there. But I mean, it still has a lovely paint app to bring out all the details, and it's got like few spray splatters. But in comparison to other figures with other things, it doesn't seem to have as much paint apps, especially on like the upper armor and around the back areas and stuff. There's no individual nicks, there's no slashes or cuts or any of that kind of crack on it, and I would have liked a little bit of that. So that would be my only down point on it. But this is my opinion, the best Wolverine. It's minimal. You get very little with him. Bare figure, couple of hands, unsheathed hands, and that's it. And then you get his claws. Usual stuff. But it's all about the face sculpt with this guy. It's all about the face sculpt. We're getting into this kind of crazy photoreal kind of territory now between this one and Thor: The Dark World face sculpt. I mean, I think both of those are incredibly photogenic, and indeed the Captain America Winter Soldier, or indeed the Age of Ultron that we'll be getting onto in a bit. We're getting into this nice kind of really extra shading on the face, kind of the skin tones they just really feel natural. They reflect well, and I don't know. I just really feel he just kind of pops straight out of the screen with this figure. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think the face sculpt is pretty faultless. I think they've really kind of they've done some really good Hugh Jackmans in the past. The first one wasn't particularly great, but the funny thing is, I still really love that first figure.
It's a great face sculpt. It's a great face sculpt
because of the outfit and everything. I just really like that kind of the leather jacket look. But the thing I was really impressed about this as well is the detailing on the fabric outfit, particularly in the upper torso. Mm-hmm. All that kind of like detail and kind of implied texture, but it is just like a body glove, and it means that the articulation just does not suffer in the slightest. I mean, this from the waist up. I mean, obviously you've got the hard armor over the stomach, but particularly in the arms, he's just a joy to kind of like pose. He's just like really, really kind of out there. The legs not quite so good. The trousers are a bit thick, and you've got the knee armor obviously. But again, it is just a great looking figure. I mean, funnily enough, I'm one of the few people I think who wasn't particularly blown away by Days of Future Past. I kind of enjoyed it, but it kind of went on a bit for me. Could have done with some heavy editing, but it was kind of like one of those films that if you had to pick a character, and let's face it, Hot Toys have got a bit of a hard on for Wolverine.
Yeah.
He was the one that they had to like represent.
But of course, I mean, I would have liked some of the other characters. I would have liked the Magneto, to be honest. I would really have liked the Magneto. I think a Magneto would have been good, and the Raven as well, or Mystique. I think the three of those, because that's kind of what the movie revolves around, those three characters to a certain degree. I would have liked that. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I really like this figure. Like you guys, this is definitely the best Hot Toys version of Wolverine. I still think the head sculpt that was done by Modern
Life?
Modern Life, yeah.
Modern Life is better. I think it's a little better in the nose. This still isn't quite Jackman's nose, but this is definitely a world better than their previous attempts. Like you guys said again, the outfit's fantastic. The detailing on it is super posable. Those metal claws, you could rip somebody up with those things. They're so sharp. I mean, it looks fantastic on the shelf. It is an expensive figure. Wasn't this one at $250?
Yeah,
and you're not
he
really
was, man. He was
extra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot. He's an expensive figure this time around, but he is probably the best. Now I did have some trouble with the suit at the wrists. This is one where the wrist pegs are buried down inside the suit. Right, the suit comes around them. So if you're not careful when you're pulling off those hands, you can pull that wrist peg through the suit, and then you got to fight its way back through. So that's you have to kind of. I mean, there's not much you can do about it because you can't actually reach in there because of the gloves. You just kind of have to carefully pull the hand off as best you can and hope that it doesn't come off at the lower peg and instead inside the hand. Yeah. But other than that, I think he was fantastic, and between the price tag and that, we're probably the only two things. Otherwise, he's a fantastic figure.
Yep, cool. Everyone thumbs up all around there for all Wolverine.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, Electro, onto another Marvel character here from a movie out in the same year as well. Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. That probably people will forget in about 5 years' time ever even existed. But there you go.
I kind of hope so. I know some people were less were more forgiving than me, but I really didn't particularly like either of the new Spider-Man films. I thought Andrew Garfield played a very good Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. I thought he played an okay Peter Parker. But for me, I don't mind playing around with the mythology, because at the end of the day, if you can tell a better story, that's fine. But I felt that he was becoming Harry Potter Spider-Man. It was kind of like all that mixed up stuff with his parents and everything. It was kind of like they're trying to build a backstory, but anyway, we're not here to talk about the film. We're talking about the figure. But as far as the figure's concerned, it's a great-looking figure. It's he struggles a bit with his articulation because obviously you've got those hidden electronics inside to light up the hands and the head. I would have liked him to have had a slightly better range of articulation because the legs are really struggling at the hips. But if you're a Spider-Man purist, and this is probably going to be the only representation of Electro, well, particularly from that film, let's face it, unless when we get the reboot for Marvel a little bit more in control with Sony, I'm sure something's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But it's a good looking figure, but for me it's a non-essential one as far as Spider-Man villains go.
Because you just opened them right there, didn't you? All that. In case anyone's wondering, anytime there's a little nicky-nackety noises in the background, that's usually one of the boys opening up something. So you just opened up, no, didn't you, Derek?
Yeah, I opened him up when I got him a few weeks back, and I had a look at him, and I kind of played around with him for a bit. But he kind of went back into the box for storage until I got some space for him. Because I really do. I mean, I've kind of played around with the electronic bolts that he's got, which are quite sweet. Yeah. So you get to kind of wrap those around him and kind of like make it look as if he's kind of like got electricity flying out of his fingertips. And the fact that he lights up is it's a cool detail, and it's a nice kind of ethereal glow on the head. It's not like it's not like he's lit up like a light bulb. It has got this kind of nice kind of gentle inner kind of light. And it's a good representation, and the facial likeness is kind of there. But it's
a really good sculpt.
Yeah. But it's like I said, for me, it's just one of those characters where it's a bit like with Spider-Man 3, was it, when we had the Green Goblin 2? He's one of those characters where you're thinking, they've done a great job on representing the character, but it's just not a character I felt particularly kind of enamoured with. I didn't feel any particular connection with.
Right, gotcha. Mike?
But that's just me.
Yeah, there's a really nice sculpt. I have to agree with Jeff on that. There's a good texture to the skin, and it has those. They even sculpted the little electrical lines, the veins.
Yeah, that is sweet.
Instead of just painting them on the head.
Does his hands light up?
Yep.
So he's a nice figure. You're not going to get a lot of Spider-Man variations.
But let's face it, I don't think we're ever going to see that Rhino, are we? I mean, that we saw the kind of pictures of it when
No,
Hot Toys kind of. I have very little doubt that that's going to make it.
I would imagine. I mean, but then they did release Whiplash, didn't they, just recently? Whiplash Mark II, and that was a bit of an odd one, a bit of a out of nowhere, what kind of a figure to be releasing kind of thing. So maybe they would, but it seems like a bit of an investment that's something like that would actually, sell, considering that movie. I mean, I don't know. Well,
yeah,
I don't know.
And aren't we talking about probably $1,000? Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be a cheap figure, is
Are we
it?
talking probably like $1,000 too?
How many seconds of screen time did he have? He wasn't on for long, was he? And it's
And he was screaming.
Yeah.
No, so his hands do light up. Electro's hands do light up.
No.
No, because he's got these transparent fingertips. So I
Yeah,
The fingers.
the fingers kind of light up at the tips. There's like a little. There's like a little kind of. You have to pull the gauntlet off, and there's like a little concealed button in the gauntlet. And they just kind of give off a kind of, again, a light kind of ethereal glow.
Cool. All right, so that's cool. All right, cool. So the hands actually do proper light up with batteries and whatnot. That's cool.
Yeah.
That actually kind of makes them kind of fun, doesn't it, with the glow up hands and glow up head? It's quite nifty.
You see, actually, I'm saying that, and I've got the figure in front of me. You've got the little light bulb in front there. In fact, I've tried to light mine up now. And it's a very kind of faint glow. It's a very kind of light glow. But, yeah, it's there.
That's a cool trick. That's a cool little technique. So I think just kind of like an action feature kind of thing. I think that's a kind of a cool figure. That's some neat ideas. I think there's some mileage out of that for maybe other Marvel characters where they kind of glowy up hands. I would have liked to have did that with Groot, actually, who we'll get onto in a little bit, because he has a kind of glow up hand in the movie and that. So, well, as we're on Marvel, let's get on to take us away then with Rocket and Groot. I assume you got the 2-pack, right?
Yeah, I got the 2-pack with both the little fuzzball and the tree. I think that a lot of people didn't give Groot enough credit. Early reviews, they were saying he's a big plastic toy. I saw some people complaining, they're used to cloth. Groot has a tremendous amount of sculpt detail in all those pieces of bark. It really is an impressive-looking hunk of wood. And they've done a fantastic job articulation-wise, right? Coming up with a way to make it as articulated as they have and yet not damage the overall look of the figure with some ugly joints. And I really like the screaming head. Again, we talked about that earlier with Arkham Batman. Yeah. This is one of those cases I really like the screaming head, especially for battle poses with Rocket on his back.
Yep.
Yeah. Rocket's not quite as impressive. He's got the fur and he's got the some decent sculpting in the texture, and I do like the little whiskers. They're super fine, and but he does remind you a bit more of a toy because of the fact that it's sculpted fur, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I mean, I personally thought that I was kind of looking forward to Rocket more out of the two. But when you kind of have him in hand, he's cool. I mean, I wish the articulation at the knees, and he just feels like a glorified kind of figure that you might have picked up in Toys R Us rather than a Hot Toys one. There's some beautiful detail on the sculpting, and so those little whiskers are really sweet. The way they kind of I do have a problem with getting one side that always seems to go up and one that always goes down.
Yeah.
So I'm always kind of tweaking with those, trying to get them to look a bit more even. But yeah, I just wish the elbows and kind of knees had all just had a little bit more articulation. I don't mind visible articulation, as I say, it's that because it's going to look like an action figure anyway. So why not go that extra yard and just make him as articulated as possible? But Groot, I'm totally in agreement. I love Groot. I think he's just a really sweet figure. Kind of reminds me of the old, was it Toy Biz Treebeard Ent figure, the kind of big one that they did.
It does actually, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of has that feel to it because I had him on display for years, and funny enough, now I've got Rocket and Groot out, partly because I love them, but also the kids love them as well. So they're on display in the dining room now, and I'm always kind of like tweaking, trying to get the ideal position for Rocket on Groot's shoulder. But no, they're a good-looking pair of figures, and let's face it, for the generation of kids, for our kids, my kids who are like 10 and 11 and 14, they are the kind of Han and Chewie of the moment. So they've got a certain kind of cool kudos kind of just sitting there on the shelf. But at the same time, I feel that Rocket could have just gone a little bit further. Yeah, they could have hidden the articulation a little better maybe in some places on Groot, but I'd rather have the articulation and it be visible than not have it and it be kind of like disguised better. So for me, they're a great looking pair of figures, but with Groot just taking the edge.
Yeah, I completely agree with both of you guys, actually. I mean, Groot, what they've done, like, very similar things that they did with the Iron Man figures on Groot, where they've given these kinds of... And it works perfectly on something like Groot because he's got these sections of bark and all over him, these sections of wood. So if you move his leg up, he could get really wide stances, and there's a nice ball joint. I love his feet.
Yeah,
they've done a really lovely job with the feet, where it's this kind of pressurized, kind of growing into the ground kind of scenario. Yeah. And it's absolutely wonderful. For all those who have details and are wondering, yes, Groot will fit in the detail, but you must put him on the bottom one, the bottom section with the wood, and if you turn his head to the side and tilt his torso to the side, in that kind of ID pose that is when he was on the lineup, you can get him perfectly, very nicely, comfortably in the detail on his base. So in my detail, he's on the base, but he's just slightly tilted to the side, and you got Rocket there underneath. Rocket, again, I am very much like you guys. The biggest issue I had with Rocket was I think his expression is quite bland. I would have loved a screaming head. I would have loved him, his shouting, his mouth wide open, like he's standing on the back of Groot in the very first clip we ever saw, screaming his face off. Yeah, I would have loved that. As it is, he's just kind of grimacing his teeth, and I guess that's kind of fine because he kind of walks around kind of grimacing his teeth a lot of the time anyway, I guess. I would have liked a couple of more paint apps on the actual cloth, on the material itself. It looks like denim or whatever material that they have here. Just a couple of more paint. I mean, there's some paint on there, but again, just a bit more dirt and a bit more wear because he's very clean and new looking. And of course, then you get your little baby Groot as well. You get your little baby Groot with him as well, don't you? Did you guys get your baby Groot?
I did indeed, yeah.
Yeah, he comes a lovely baby Groot, and of course,
the baby Groot's cute.
The baby Groot's cool. And of course he comes with his kind of glowy hand as well, his glowing kind of sun hand that he releases these seeds from as well, does Groot. Two great figures. Like you guys said, they do look great on your shelf, and it comes with a nice attachment with the base that you can attach the Rocket onto the back of Groot in a kind of a cool pose. So if you got to maneuver it, it's a little bit fiddly, but with enough posing and tinkering, you can get a really cool pose with Rocket on the back of Groot there, and it's quite secure and stuff, and it looks great. And in the cabinet with the other two, with Gamora and Star-Lord, looks wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Now let's bring on the Drax, and everyone's going to be happy.
Is that going to happen? It seems to have gone on forever.
Yeah, no, we are going to get Drax. They've done a whole new sculpted body on him and everything.
All right.
So evidently there was some trouble with I don't know. There was some trouble with the.
They showed him again in Singapore, right?
Yep. He looks amazing. He looks really good. He looks even better again. So I think, maybe Hot Toys will make.
Here's another one of those weird things. We're old toy collectors, been in it for the long haul. I know you're a bit younger than us, Eamon, but every time I look at Groot's feet as well, every time I look at them, I can't help but think of the old Hasbro Hammerhead. It's just that kind of the way they kind of spread out like because it always made me think of a tree when I used to play with Hammerhead when I was a kid, and it's just got that same look. It just every time I look at it, I think the same thing.
I do not know what this Hammerhead is.
Oh, he was the old Hasbro kind of 4-inch figures, 3.5-inch, whatever they were. The classic ones that those of us old enough to remember were kind of like if you were kind of like
Hammerhead was in the
second batch, wasn't he? The second 8.
He's in the cantina.
Yeah, that's it.
Nah, I'm drunk. Oh, Hammerhead from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you had
Hammerhead from Star Wars. Yes,
sorry. Yeah, Hammerhead.
His feet do just look like that. Yes.
When you had Greedo and Snaggletooth, and when that second wave came all out.
His feet are very like that. Very, very reminiscent of that, actually. Yes, indeed. All right. We better crack on. Gordon and Bat Signal. Blake, the Dark Knight Rises. Blake and Gordon Bat Signal set. Right, who wants to kick that one off? I don't have this.
I don't have this one, so Mike's on his lonesome on this one.
Great set. Fantastic set. Do you like Blake? Yes, I like Blake. The head sculpt is terrific. It's an amazing head sculpt on Blake. I think they really did capture it well. It's a police uniform. It's clean. The jacket's nice. The accessories are nice. He poses well. Gordon, he's got that frumpy outfit. So the tailoring's a little on the frumpy side, which is supposed to be. So, he's not as quite a dapper looking character as Blake is. The head sculpt is great, though. It's the same one you got before. If you have the other Gordon, this is the same head sculpt you got with the other Gordon. The glasses are an improvement. They're very small. They're very tiny. They look great. They're very much in scale. And the bat signal lights up bright and clear. What I like also about this set is it's a reasonable price if you think about it. If you take all three into consideration, you were paying a lot less per figure than you normally have been paying for most Hot Toys releases these days. So that's a big plus, too.
Does the bat signal actually light up? It does light up. Does it create a back signal on your wall?
Yeah, it lights up nice and bright.
Does it go onto your wall? Like, does it?
If you're close enough. If you're close enough. I mean, you can't be across the room, but.
I remember Mattel had the comic book range years ago that came with a light up bat signal, and it was pretty cool, man. It had probably quite a good distance on it.
There were quite a few.
Movie Masters.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, that was the one.
I'd say this is a site I'd really like to pick up. I mean, I have the Bat Armory with Alfred and Bruce Wayne. And it's like you said, you really do actually feel like you're getting some value for money from Hot Toys on those things because, individually the figures are costing more and more. But if you do invest in buying one of these sets, you do seem to get a lot more bang for your buck. I think if you want the Bat signal, let's face it. It's a cool accessory. I think it's just a good way of spreading your bets.
I mean, the Blake figure just looks so good, man. Because again, we'd seen that particular Gordon face sculpt before, but just that final Blake head sculpt is really good. He looks really determined. It looks really cool. As a cop figure goes, that's a good looking cop figure right there. So it is. And Gordon looks nice with his folders and his jacket. The jacket is actually quite nice, so it is. Usually those jackets can be quite a little awkward looking on figures, but that looks quite nice. What about the jumper underneath? What's the jumper like underneath there, Mike?
Oh, it's the usual Hot Toys quality.
Cool. And, I mean, the accessories are you don't need a lot of accessories for this.
What do you mean?
As in, I'm just looking like you get handcuffs, a gun, a thingy, and then you get a couple of files on it. But I guess what else would you get with them, really? To be fair, because you get a big old bat signal there, really. Okay, well, as you can see, our sound issues are kind of continuing, so we've had to say goodbye to Mike, and hopefully, he'll be back in a bit more quality next year. He had to finish up early anyway, but I guess with the quality and stuff like that, we just couldn't kind of maybe continue with that. So hopefully, myself and Jeff will entertain you for the remnants of the show, won't we, Jeff? We'll
do our best. We'll try.
We'll do our best. We'll do our best. Although you're going to hear me babble for a little bit while, so it can't be all that bad, right? You're going to hear me babble and drool and gush, absolutely gush, over the RoboCop Murphy 2-pack. You don't have this, do you, Jeff?
I don't have it. No, I got the RoboCop in chair. It's something I'd like to possibly pick up in the future, but at the moment, no, that's not one I have in my.
But it is on your radar to get, is it?
Well, very much so. Yeah, I think because I just really like the battle damage look. That more than Murphy for me, but I think it's just cool to actually get a representation of Murphy. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the two of them. RoboCop is great. The battle damage RoboCop is great, but this set is just one of my favorite sets that I've ever gotten from Hot Toys.
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely love them. I mean, the Murphy figure is brilliant. I'll go into RoboCop in a bit because we've already kind of reviewed a RoboCop before from Hot Toys already. This Murphy is brilliant. The face sculpt is so good. It's so good. It feels so reminiscent of the movie. It really it's just so good. And I mean, the helmet is a bit of a complex issue because you got to take off the top of his head. You got to kind of take off the back of his head. But then there's an attachment. Yeah. There's an attachment of hair that goes on the base of the skull so that his hair kind of pops off from under the helmet. But you have the helmet on there, and you put the mic up, and you can put the visor up and down, and it just screams the movie. It's all about stepping out of the cinema screen for me, and it just really absolutely does that. You even get like a finger that can twirl the gun. How cool!
Oh, really?
Is that? Yeah. And you get two guns, so you get Lois's gun as well, so we can do a 2-gun 2-action as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning figure. The battle damage RoboCop, not diecast, but when you kind of see, you can kind of understand why, because it's got a ton of like holes and stuff in it where you can see all his gears and cogs in there. The battle damage RoboCop is something else. The face sculpt is truly, truly, truly remarkable. It has all the imperfections you remember from the cinema screen, or from the movie screen, and it's just so good. The bullet holes, the wear, it's got slashes inside the leg, and underneath the slashes you can see all the wires and cables, just splats of oil trails coming down his chest. It is truly a stunning figure. He's got the little dent on his forehead there on the things. And he even comes with a little jar of baby food. Hooray! I've got him holding his baby food. At the moment now, I've got him holding that, that scene where he's actually holding the baby food. Going to use for target practice in a bit. But if you're a RoboCop fan and you think you're just satisfied with just that one RoboCop, trust me, you ain't. These two are where it's at. They look great. Just having the three of these now in one cubicle, the clean RoboCop, battle damage, and then Murphy in between them, it just looks awesome sauce. It's really evocative of the movie, and it just, I mean, if you are, I love the original RoboCop movie. I do not like the new RoboCop at all. I think it completely misses the point entirely, and just it was just trying to be all things to all people, whereas the other one just went for it. And it was a mishmash. They changed certain things at the last minute, and they changed them for all the better. And it was one of those great movies where it was like fly the seat of your pants kind of things.
Yeah.
And, this RoboCop's design was originally meant to be Judge Dredd, and they got this solidified just in the last minute. Didn't even see before they started shooting it. It's everything about RoboCop I absolutely love, and these two figures are absolutely stunning. I cannot recommend them enough. That's big praise for me there. You can tell I like them really, but you are hoping to get them at some stage, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's just such a cool bit, and I there's something about battle damage figures that just does it for me. It's all the weathering, it's all the pock marks and the gun marks. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of that was what drew me to it more than the Murphy figure. But that said, once it came out and I saw the Murphy figure, and you said the detail on the helmet and all the kind of like little peripheral details on the weapons, I just thought, no, that's a sweet looking figure.
It's great. He's got the lovely body armor and everything on him. I mean, it just shoots straight out of the movie. It just screams the movie, and it's his everything about it. I love this set. The only thing I will say, and it's the same thing that maybe some people have noticed as well, with say the battle damaged Mark 6, that the Avengers one with the Chitauri base, that exclusive one. Yeah. When the Hot Toys do battle damage, they seem to use less shinier plastic in certain areas.
Yeah.
I would like if they didn't do that, because we'll say like the midsection of RoboCop, it's very matte.
Yeah.
And I know he's battle damaged, but it shouldn't be all entirely matte. But maybe there's a technical reason for that as well. And some of the other areas are matte. And I will say though that the actual color of this RoboCop is a lot more like close to the movie as well. Than obviously the kind of more silvery metallic one of the clean version kind of thing. But if you're a RoboCop fan, you got to get it. Oh, and he comes with a big gun that he blows up EAD-209 with as well. I like it! That gun. He comes with that gun, so that's kind of cool. And he does hold that, and if you put that alongside him, and you got ED-209 over the far edge of the table, man, and your coffee table, it's awesome sauce. It's what collecting is all about. All right,
absolutely.
Then. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with some older figures. Hooray! Europe listeners, look no further than Space. Space, search for popular action figures and collectibles ends. The best service possible and steady accessibility by email and telephone is one of the top priorities at Space. They carry a wide range of collectibles, not only from major brands like SideShow, Hot Toys, Cad Bane, NECA and McFarlane, but they also specialise in the exotic and small new manufacturers. A very important department to them is their 1/6 scale section, which is currently getting bigger and bigger, offering lots of clothes, bodies, head sculpts and accessories. Hot Toys is of course one of their specialities, so you can pre-order all newly announced figures from their web store. They often have Hot Toys figures in stock earlier than any other dealers. They are also the best source in Europe for convention exclusives. Space loves what they do, so you can depend on them for secure packaging, ensuring your items reaches you in mint condition. In-stock items get processed normally the same day. Pre-ordering customers will be notified in advance once an item arrives in stock and before it gets shipped. Space is located in Germany and offers clearly arranged shipping flat rates to all European countries. On most destinations you can even get free shipping. For EU customers, this of course means that you will not be surprised by any customs fees or import taxes. Space is serving us collectors with the finest items for over 15 years. If you're located anywhere in Europe, do go to Space. www.space-figures.com. Okay. All right, then. We're going to go into our new section now of older
I'm just
figures.
going to grab it.
You go over and get that figure there, Jeff. I'll go get this one.
Just picking it up.
And when we mention older figures, they can and often are still available from both of our sponsors. The one that I'm going to choose is definitely. I don't think I'm not sure if the others will have the one that Jeff is picking out. But I'm going to pick Jor-El. And Jor-El is just one of those nice figures that I just think has dipped a little bit below the radar. And I think he needs to be one of those figures that people need to re-see again. Now, hopefully, we'll probably see Jor-El, the character, pop up back in the new cinemas, and back up in the new movies and stuff like that. But it's a sweet figure. The costume is great. It's got loads of layering under it and things like that. And it just has a great regal look. And I just think it's one of those kinds of figures that people maybe need to revisit. Plus, it's got that really good Russell Crowe head sculpt. So I guess if you want to start kit bashing, maybe get your Gladiator from ACI Toys and pop your Russell Crowe head sculpt. You could do that, although you do have his kind of unusual, unique to that movie hairdo that he had, that kind of middle parting thing going on. But it's a lovely figure. It comes with that lovely kind of Superman base. Comes with a lovely rifle, and it's just a really nice regal looking figure.
Yeah.
It's the kind of figure that you'd put alongside your Odin if you have an Odin.
Yeah.
You're kind of background characters, your Odins and your these kinds of other characters. And I guess like we just said, Electro, you can maybe stick him in with that. The kind of one figures that you kind of like, but maybe you don't want to push it to the foreground because it's like, well, you want more of your icons foreground. But it's nice to have these kinds of figures in there. It's like, oh look, there's Thingamabog, there's Thingamajig.
And funny enough, when you said Jor-El, I wondered if you were going to be talking the old Brando one that they released years ago.
I don't have that one, but that's another old one, but that's very hard to get now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, I remember back in the day it went crazy on the secondary market. I haven't even looked for years. I mean, I've still got my original one. I kind of got it about the same time as they brought it. It was obviously from the Brandon Ruth version. What was it? Superman Returns.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it was just a really nice figure. And I mean, particularly, obviously, if years later that you managed to pick up the Christopher Reeve Superman, it's a great companion piece to that. And that was a great figure. But that wasn't my choice. I wasn't going to go there. That's not where I'm going.
Where are you going, man? Are you going somewhere where you can't scream?
Well, we were just briefly talking about this, and I was thinking about going for the old Appleseed, Judah Newt and Briareos because I just love those figures. But I can't honestly, for the life of me, remember if I brought them up before as a kind of throwback. Yeah, so the one I'm going to go for, and it's a bit of a surprise one, because it's a film that not a lot of people really love, and let's face it, I don't particularly love it. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure, but it's from AVP, and it's the alien from AVP.
Oh, what's that ratcheting there?
That was me just moving it, because the head, listen to this, is still as stiff as the day I bought it. It's still kind of like the movement on it and everything. It's just a really beautifully kind of engineered figure, in as much, not compared to some of the stuff they're doing nowadays. Bearing in mind this is like, God, it must be getting on for 10 years old now. It must be, surely.
I didn't know they did an actual alien for the AVP line. I know they did the
Yeah. They did a few, actually. They did the one I got in my hand, which is like the classic sort of black-blue version. They also did a limited edition brown version, as they did for the Aliens line, and they also did the Grid Alien, the one that gets the Predator kind of net mesh over the head, makes it kind of bleed acid. So they did 3 versions, and the thing I really love about these, I mean, people had issues. He's got the kind of dinosaur feet thing going on, and he's got the elongated fingers, which are a bit more like the from Alien 4. Which is nobody's favourite Alien film, let's face it. But it's kind of like, it's just a nice alien figure. It does represent the alien. It's not perfect to Geiger's by a long shot. You've got the big chap if you want that. Even he's got a few issues. But this is just an alien that I've always had on display, purely because he's just really easy to pose. It looks cool to anybody who's not in the know. It's instantly recognisable as the alien. It's only us purists and xenomorph fans that kind of really pick up on the details. You can argue till the cows go home about the kind of jawbone on the back of the heel if you want to, but at the end of the day, most people just don't give a monkeys. So it's one of those things where it's a figure I love. It poses well, and as I say, it's 10 years old. The body is made out of some kind of silicon rubber, and it is as fresh and as bendy and as perfect today as the day I got out of the box.
The big chap leak and stuff, supposedly, inverted commas leak. Wasn't there some issues with the big chap? There was with some Batman armour and stuff.
I had a problem with my Batman leaking some kind of oily residue. I never had a problem with my alien.
Right.
But as I say, this figure has been on display literally every day since I bought it. And I say it must be 8, 9, 10 years ago, and it looks as fresh as it did that day. It needs a bit of a dusting as I'm holding it in my hand now, but no, it's a great figure. And it's still got the old kind of the jaw comes out, and even the little sinewy rubber bits on the sides of the mouth.
Oh, really?
That bend as you push the mouth out are still bendy and fine. They're not showing any signs of wear or tear. So, yeah, it's just I think it's not a classic film, but it is something of a classic figure. So yeah, I really like the AVP Alien.
Well, check our sponsors. See if I doubt if either of our sponsors would actually have that one in, but
I wouldn't have thought so.
It's worth a gander. It's worth a gander. All right, well, we're going to finish up our show here. We apologise for the sound quality. Actually, that's, as you can see, it's a rare thing for us to have that to happen. But obviously, maybe some bad weather or something like that over in America. Maybe it was causing it. Who knows? But that is the end of our show. And if there's a topic you feel we should be covering, do let us know. You can email me, eamon@eamonart.com, or you can reach Mike at his website, which is mwctoys.com. That also has some great pictures as well that we use on our devices as well. So, ours is an enhanced podcast. So again, like I always say, look at your devices. Our images are popping up, kind of thing, kind of there. And you can also find us on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Eamon_, and Mike Crawford's Twitter handle is just @MichaelCrawford, funnily enough. Now, there's one thing I would love for our listeners to start doing, actually, if you guys all can, was to leave us a review. Be that on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbay, or whatever. Please, whatever platform you're on, if you have a moment, leave us a review. Good one, bad one, doesn't matter. It's all good. So, we'll leave it at that now. That was episode 24. That's like us nearly doing that's like 2 years of podcast, dude. That's 2 years of epic reporting on all things articulated plastic and artificial materials. Do you feel proud of that there, Jeff?
Well, I think that we, in whatever small way possible, we have made a contribution to the extended life of this planet, or its early demise, one way or the other.
Oh, I think so. Oh, this is going to be one. This will never fade away. You do realize when you record this stuff, it stays somewhere forever. So unless they blow up some crazy data bank or something like that, this is eternal. It's like, whoa. Right, enough of that. I watched a movie. What night was it? Movie with God.
Not Battleship.
No, it wasn't Battleship.
Oh, I ended up watching that last night. Oh my God, that's 2 hours I'm never going to get back.
No, it was a crazy hipper stoner movie with the guy from Gladiator, the bad guy from Gladiator.
Oh yeah. Not She.
No, not She. No, not She.
I love that film.
It's another one. It's a really good stoner movie. Anyway, I'm babbling. That's our time to say goodbye, actually. Jeff?
Good night. Thank you very much, as usual.
There you go. Bit of a ramshackle episode this, but hopefully we'll make it up. Actually, we will definitely be making it up next time, because next time we should have a big, cool special guest on our show. Oh, yeah. Stay tuned, y'all. Good night, everybody. Take care.